So today, we're going to talk about a kind of roadmap for the human experience. We're going to explore these 8 critical stages that really they shape who you are, who you were, and who you're on your way to becoming. I mean, it's a universal feeling, right? That sense that you're just kind of navigating without a compass. You're wondering, am I on the right track? Did I take a wrong turn somewhere way back when? We've all been there. Well, it turns out a psychoanalyst who actually coined the term identity crisis, you've probably heard of that one, he developed a sort of map for this exact journey. His name was Erik Erikson, and his work, honestly, it gives us this incredible framework for making sense of our own lives. See, Erikson didn't see life as just a bunch of random things happening. No, he saw it as a progression, a story with really distinct chapters. And each one of those chapters presents its own unique challenge. A new piece of the landscape to figure out on our map. And this whole journey, it starts right from the very beginning. Erikson's own words just capture it perfectly. This feeling of being small, of starting out as a child, that feeling never really leaves us. It's like the bedrock that all of our future growth is measured against. Now, you've probably heard of Sigmund Freud if you've heard anything about psychoanalysis. And while Erikson was definitely influenced by him, he kind of took a hard turn. He believed that the real key to our development wasn't so much our internal drives, but our social world, our culture. It's all about how we connect with the world and the people around us. And that led him to his big idea, psychosocial development. Okay, it sounds a little academic, but the concept itself is beautifully simple. Our personality gets built, piece by piece, through 8 different stages. And each stage has what he called a social crisis. Think of it like a fork in the road. If you navigate it successfully, you gain a new strength, a new tool for your journey. But if you stumble, you carry that vulnerability with you into the next stage. So let's look at the first few landmarks on this map. The first 4 stages, they all happen in childhood, and they're all about building the essential toolkit we're going to need for the rest of our lives. So here they are: trust, autonomy, initiative, and industry. Don't just think of these as phases kids go through. Think of them as the core virtues we're trying to build. Each one literally builds on top of the last one, creating the foundation of our entire personality. And it all starts with trust versus mistrust. It's so basic. When a baby cries, does someone come? Are they fed? Are they cared for? If the answer is yes, that baby learns that the world is a pretty reliable, safe place. They develop a fundamental sense of trust. If not, well, a deep mistrust can take hold, and that can color every relationship they have later in life. Next up, we hit autonomy versus shame. This is that classic, I can do it myself phase. You've seen it. If a toddler's trying to put on their own shoes, even if they're on the wrong feet, and they're encouraged, they build self-confidence, they learn autonomy. But if they're constantly criticized or ridiculed, that can lead to a deep sense of shame about their own abilities. And from there, we get to initiative versus guilt. This is when kids start planning things, inventing these elaborate games, asking why about everything. If you nurture that curiosity, you help them develop a sense of initiative. But if you shut it down, make them feel like their questions are annoying, you can saddle them with a lingering feeling of guilt, just for wanting to take the lead. The last of these foundational stages is industry versus inferiority. Now, school is the main event. When a child's work, their drawings, their school projects, is praised, they develop a sense of competence, of industry. But if they consistently fail, or if they're made to feel like they're not good enough, a powerful feeling of inferiority can set in, making them doubt their own place in the world. Okay, so with that foundation in place, whether it's solid or maybe a little bit shaky, we arrive at what is probably the most famous landmark on Erikson's map. We're talking about the teenage and young adult years. This is the great identity crossroads. And the one central question that defines this entire chaotic, amazing period is this one. It's the question we all have to face down. Who am I? Which brings us right to stage 5, identity versus role confusion. We've all been there, right? Trying on different hats, different personas, the jock, the brain, the artist, just trying to figure out which one actually fits. And success here means exploring, trying things, maybe even failing a bunch, and eventually pulling all those pieces together into a stable sense of who you are. If you don't do that work, you're left with role confusion, this awful feeling of not knowing who you are or where you fit in. So you wrestle with who you are, and then, almost immediately, you face the next big challenge. How do I connect this person I've become to other people? And this leads to a period so intense that we now call it the quarter-life crisis. And that is the heart of stage 6, intimacy versus isolation. Once you have a solid sense of self, you can actually share it with someone else without being afraid you're going to lose yourself in the process. And this isn't just about romance either. It's about deep friendships, bonds with colleagues. To get to real intimacy, you have to be vulnerable. The alternative, often because you're still not sure who you are or you're just afraid of commitment, is this profound, painful sense of isolation. Okay, so as we keep moving through adulthood on our map, the focus starts to shift. It becomes less about finding myself and a lot more about what can I give back. The goal really becomes about crafting a legacy. Welcome to Stage 7, Generativity versus Stagnation. Generativity is a big word, but it's a simple idea. It's about making your mark on the world. This could be raising kids, sure, but it's also mentoring younger people at work, creating something beautiful, or volunteering your time. It's about leaving things a little better for the next generation. Stagnation is the total opposite. It's that feeling of being stuck, unproductive, completely disconnected, like you're just running in place. And finally, we arrive at the destination. Stage 8, Ego Integrity versus Despair. In our later years, we all tend to look back at the map of our lives. Now, having integrity doesn't mean you lived a perfect life. Not at all. It means accepting the life you lived. All of it, the wins and the losses, as your own, finding meaning in your unique story. That acceptance brings wisdom. The other side of that coin is despair, looking back with a long list of what-ifs and regrets, feeling like it's just too late to start over. So, after traveling through all 8 of these stages, what does it all mean? What's the final takeaway from this incredible map of a human life? Here's the most important thing to get. Your identity isn't some fixed thing you're born with. It's a living, breathing history. You are the sum total of how you have dealt with, or maybe are still dealing with, each and every one of these 8 conflicts. Every success becomes a strength that you carry with you. And Erikson himself summed it all up with these powerful words. We're not just who we are in this moment. We are defined by the strengths, the wisdom, and the trust that we have carried forward from every stage we've passed through. We are what has survived the journey. And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Looking at this map and being really honest with yourself, which of these challenges are you facing right now?